November in Lisbon is usually a tech month, rather, because we usually have the Web Summit and there's lots of connections, lots of meetings with people who are, coming to Portugal to actually attend the Web Summit, which is the biggest tech conference globally. And Web Summit always attracts quite a lot of people, quite a lot of talent, quite a lot of startups, and so on and so forth. So this video is definitely to let you into the tech world in Portugal and to let you know how you could potentially participate, obviously, in the coming years, coming months, or if you're looking to move into Portugal, then what to expect in this case in the tech world. It's not a perfect world for sure. So if this video is for you, please go ahead and watch until the very end. If it's not, please share it with somebody else who could benefit from it so that we can keep on growing this community. Give it a thumbs up, leave your comment, and so on and so forth, right? So the tech visa scheme is what I will talk about first, because the tech visa scheme is one of the visa schemes that I have really talked about on this channel, and I'm just going to highlight it. It is a program that allows companies to actually let in anyone from a non-EU country to come and work in companies that have already set up shop here. And there are several of these companies nowadays that have set up shop in Portugal, in Lisbon, in big cities, Lisbon, Porto. It could also be in other smaller cities. It could also be a fully remote job that is actually still within Portugal. So there are several of these options nowadays. And what usually happens is that if you find one of the jobs and that company is enlisted on the tech visa scheme list, which I will leave on the description box below so that you can be able to actually go through that list, see the companies that are enlisted there, maybe go to their websites, go to their LinkedIn and see what type of jobs that have been enlisted there and whether you actually qualify for these jobs and you can apply for those jobs. So the tech visa scheme is a government scheme where the government actually allows for these companies to get people from outside the EU to come and work here. Your skill set, however, has to meet the criteria that has been stipulated by any of these companies. And if you go through the process of the interviews and so on and so forth, and it's a yes, then you can apply for your visa. And once you relocate to Portugal, then this company can potentially also assist you towards getting a residence card, which obviously once you integrate into the system in Portugal, then you are able to do the bureaucratic work, etc., and you integrate into the system that way, which becomes a much easier process as compared to other schemes, for instance, job seeker visa. I will not lie to you for sure. So this is usually something that you can do when you're still within your home country, so you don't have to already have moved in Portugal. So what happens is that you will go on that list, and that list is quite extensive. So you go through that list and see what type of job you could potentially qualify for. It doesn't mean that you have to be a software engineer or you have to be one of those techies who are deep into coding, etc. You can be a project manager. You can also be in finance. You could be in product management. You could also even be in customer success, and so on and so forth. These jobs are usually stipulated on these companies' websites, on their LinkedIn pages, wherever else you can find them, and you can be able to pretty much shoot your shot. And if it's a yes, then you can go through the process of applying for the visa and then come into Portugal and then integrate that way. So this is one of the things that has been happening in Portugal for a bit of time now. And why is this? Is because there's a shortage of people to work in tech and also in hospitality, in tourism, and all these places. So you find that these companies that are enlisted here are variable. Honestly, it could be a company that is in energy, it could be a company that is in tourism, hospitality, it could be customer support, customer success. There's lots of customer support actually in Portugal, in Lisbon and Porto for sure. I have worked myself in a customer support role for sure. And I mean, these are the easiest of the jobs to actually find in teleperformance, in places like Found Ever. I've seen quite a number of them, honestly speaking, but teleperformance is usually one of those that is very, very common. So What I'm talking about, whichever the case, is not just customer support roles. These are roles from software engineer, project management, all these kind of roles that are enlisted in these companies, which you could find. And if you're a good fit, it's not a guarantee. Once again, it's never a guarantee. This time now, I will never lie to you that it is guaranteed that you definitely will get in. So you have to apply and apply and apply and apply, and until you do the interviews and it's a yes, then you can be able to actually move into Portugal and start working. So the tech scene also has an encouragement of anybody else who is also looking towards doing a startup. If you want to start your business here, or maybe you have a branch in your own home country and you want to come and set up shop here, then you definitely can come and set up shop here for sure, using entrepreneurial visa, whereby you come in and franchise your branch right here. Why is this easy? Because there is a tax incentive for sure, and the visa scheme also is easy to actually, sort of easy. It's never easy in Portugal, but it's kind of easy to get it. And especially if you're coming to set up your company here, or set up your business here, or if you want to come on an entrepreneurial basis where you start your own company. And actually, I have seen practically so, sometimes it's always like, oh, maybe that is so fluffy, it does not make sense. But I've seen quite a number of people even coming from Kenya, coming to even sell, the handcrafts, coming to sell the shoes, the baskets, the jewelry that we have in Masai Market, and so on and so forth. So this is something that you could also potentially come and begin on your own and grow that way, get your visa, get your paperwork, etc., integrate into the system and expand your business that way. Then there's also the fact that, you can always move in here as an independent worker. So for instance, if you're already working remotely for a company even back in Kenya or wherever else, it doesn't matter where, you can actually also apply for a different visa, whereby you're earning income, but it's not from a Portuguese company, or not coming from a company that is established in Portugal, and you can earn your money and keep living here and integrate into the system. Once again, is the same drill. So the tech scene has really been growing over time, and there's a lot of incentive, and there's a lot of inventions and innovation that is happening within the tech scene. In fact, there's a Portuguese AI that is coming up, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of networks and connections that are happening within the country, which you could hone into and be able to actually go in, whether it is through work, or whether it is to set up your company, whether it is to come here and do your startup, whether it is to come here and start your business, whatever it is, or maybe come and do connections here, or perhaps maybe you want to come and do a conference here. It doesn't matter, because nowadays there's lots of interest and lots of people who actually live here, who work in tech or work in companies, where, they are companies that are established even outside of Portugal, which has changed the environment quite a lot. Obviously, it's not perfect for sure, but one thing for sure is that this can be a very good ground for you to begin, because most of the big companies have set up shop here, and you can be able to hone in on whichever the company that you want to come in and work for or integrate into. Now, the tech visa scheme usually is easier to get and easy to do the process, because at least the company the company actually helps you towards the process. So if you're applying, for example, in Kenya, and you have to go to Maputo to actually do the process, the company usually reaches out to the consulate to tell them that this is a person that we have employed, and the process becomes much, much easier that way. Of course, the reality of coming to live in Portugal still stands out, whereby you still have to look for accommodation, you still have to integrate into the culture, learn the language, as much as maybe you're coming to do the work in English, because most of these jobs, not most, actually quite almost every one of those jobs are in English. So you definitely would be easy going with the English language. However, you need to learn the Portuguese language for you to integrate into the culture. You need to learn the cultural practices. It's an adjustment from your old life. And the beauty of it as well is that as soon as you integrate into the system, if you do want to do a family reunion, then you definitely can do it. And even later, if you qualify, then you can get a permanent residency, especially for those people where you have to give up your own passport. Then you can become a permanent resident, or it also sets you into a path of citizenship for sure. After 5 years, it's a long process. I will tell you for sure, it's a long process. Usually, I say give it 7 years, because after 5 years, sure, you submit your application, but then you have to wait for the process, which gives you almost 6 or even 7 years. So I usually give it a solid 7 years, and this is definitely worth it. So it takes time. It takes time for you to establish yourself. It takes time for you to, do the paperwork, the bureaucracies, etc. But over time, it works out very well. So this is a thing that has been happening, and in November is usually one of those months where there's a lot of tech talk. And if you want to also come in for Web Summit, usually they release their tickets quite early, even as early as now. So depending on the category that you want to actually come in and listen into the Web Summit, the Global Tech Conference, then you can plan ahead of time, because usually once they release the tickets, you can be able to buy for it and plan ahead of time your trip and all these kind of things, your visa, etc. Plan to come in November, and you can even come and showcase your company. You can come in and showcase your company to investors and be able to see whether you can be able to get some sort of funding, or even come and become an inspiration, maybe do a talk and all these kind of things, and integrate into the tech world. This opens you up, opens your business up, it opens your mind up, it gives you the right connections as well, and it is definitely worth it. So the tech visa scheme, among others, is one of those that has been quite vibrant over the years now, since 2019, I believe, and it's just one of the paths. We have several other paths that you could also potentially look into. And I think one of the things that I have learned over the years, pivoting into tech in Portugal, is that things keep changing. Tech world keeps changing quite a lot. It is quite fast. So you have to keep running with it and ensuring that you're getting the right skills. So if you see, for instance, a job that you would like to actually do, and you're like, my skill set does not meet this criteria, what you could do is obviously start learning online. Do online courses on Coursera, on whatever else platform, YouTube, etc. And that way you're able to equip yourself in a way where you can be able to hone in your skills into the company that you potentially would want to work for. So it's always not a guarantee. Obviously, it's, keep trying until something happens. And I do hope that if you're thinking of moving into Portugal, you look into this scheme or look into other schemes that would work well for you. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please thumbs it up and leave your comment down below, and I will leave all the relevant links on the description box below for the tech visa scheme especially, and also for the entrepreneurial visa, D7 visa. I've spoken about this on this channel for quite a lot, so I do hope that you at least pick one that works for you for sure. What works for someone else does not have to work for you, and you have to really hone in into exactly what you want and what is your plan in the future for sure. So I do hope that you have enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye.